What is the new best rifle in Escape from Tarkov? Since BSG reworked most of the attachments in the game and were waiting on the next stage with barrels and handguards, I've been investigating what is the best weapon to be using in the meanwhile, and the main choice for this video will be something relatively conventional. But I've also got a surprise wildcard choice for you later on that you can give a go in your own raids, but it'll only make sense once we've looked at the other options. So, the prime candidate caliber here is 7.62 NATO, because at this point most players are using class 5 and 6 armor, especially with events like the smugglers going on that is giving people high-end ammo and weapons to fight against the plates that you can get using the Rambarters from Ragman. With 7.62 NATO, you can make one of the best rounds in the workbench, M80A1, which with 55 pen gets through class 6 in the first 2 shots pretty consistently. However, with all the changes, the guns that are chambered in this particular caliber have been disproportionately hit by higher recoil, making it much harder to use them in an actual raid now. So let's take a look at the full auto selection within this caliber, which historically has been one of the most powerful series of guns in Tarkov, and the AK-308 shows off exactly what I'm talking about. Previously, this gun was one of my favourite weapons in the entirety of 1.0, but now it's actually pretty hard to control. The minimum recoil version doesn't even get under 100 anymore. It's still usable of course, and it fires a big bullet, but it's a shadow of what it was only a few weeks ago. Another favourite, the MDR, got hit as well due to the muzzle brakes, suppressors and grips changing, which are the only things that the MDR really uses to control its relatively low base recoil. Although it wasn't quite as badly damaged as the 308 AK, it can still only reach 93 recoil at its bare minimum. As a reminder, we're still trying to use these weapons without the whole overswing thing, i.e. when the weight and ergonomics of your weapon are too high and too low, which means that the reticle swings over the target before settling back. You can fix this by optimizing the builds to be lower weight or higher ergonomics. You need a combination of the two, and you can check where the threshold lies exactly by building your weapons on db4tarkov.com/gun. But on the MDR, it comes a bit more easily than the other weapons because you can use the new best in slot red brake for loud versions. And this means that you can even use a drum fairly readily. Next we have the SA-58 or the FAL, a classic weapon that has always struggled with ergonomics versus recoil trade-offs, and this now sits at 91 recoil minimum with awful overswing even when loud due to its weight and low ergo. You can try to tinker with shorter barrels to fix the problem or use smaller magazines, but fundamentally you have to make a serious trade-off somewhere with this gun. So this leaves us with the ScavTalk. Compared to the others, you can probably see why this one stands out so much. A minimum recoil of 69 gives us a huge head start against the other weapons to mess around with the ergonomics and give some of it up without making the gun absolutely suck. Now, the biggest issue with the base ScavTalk is the 20 rounder magazines. Even the AK-308 has the 24s, whereas the MDR and the FAL can take 50s natively, albeit the MDRs are extremely expensive to buy. But if you swap the SCAR over to the X17 lower, you can use the same mags as the MDR2, and the X17 is even on the flea. Interestingly, the regular ScavTalk itself isn't, so you'll have to get one from the traders to begin with, but once you do, it's relatively easy just to swap over all the parts. From here, the lowest recoil builds for the SCAR don't really work with the 50 round drum unless you're going loud, and even then it's touch and go. Stocks wise, I really would avoid anything fancy other than the standard folding stock plus VS11 with the cheek rest, as it is much better ergonomically than anything else in the same recoil range. This combo gives 24% recoil reduction versus the lowest possible of 26.5, so not much worse, and gives vastly more ergonomics. So if you want to avoid overswing, this is basically a must-have component. The next set of stocks that beat it drop to under 20% recoil reduction, which in my opinion is too much to give away. From here we have two handguard choices, the CASV for lower recoil and the PMM M-Lock version for higher ergo. With the long barrel and the CASV, you'll get to 76 vertical recoil and 45 ergonomics, with the best in slot loud red brake, which is just scraping along the overswing threshold, and you will see a little bit of it when using either sights like the EOTech holographics or LPVOs like the Voodoo. To alleviate this, we can move to the PMM build instead, which increases the recoil of the build a little to 79, but increases the ergo to 47.5 and gives us a bit more leeway as it removes the overswing on both holographics and LPVOs. Now unfortunately, if we do want to go suppressed, there is no way of fixing this long barrel build to do so whilst keeping the 50 rounder, and this means that we have to move down to the medium length barrel. As I said in my attachments video, and this is still true despite the BSG tweak since then, the Thunderbeast is almost certainly the best option as it is so much lighter than all the other choices. In 5.56 it's a tie-up between the Thunderbeast and the Mini Monster, but in 7.62 the Thunderbeast is just the clear option. Even here though, we have to make up for a lot of negative ergo and more weight. Moving to the medium barrel doesn't fix everything, although it nearly gets rid of the overswing, and in my opinion is actually fairly usable, but it doesn't go away entirely even with the higher ergo PMM build. So rather than moving to the even shorter barrel, which not only loses you even more recoil all the way up to 96, but it doesn't help with the ergonomics either that much because you lose the ability to use the extension parts for the better handguards, I think the better solution is a slightly unorthodox one. Remove a few rounds from the 50-round drum. With 7.62 NATO, I know it's cool, but we don't really need all of these bullets. Bearing in mind that we already moved from 20 rounders, skipped over the 25s because of the cost, you can only buy them on the flea, at least for the MDR and the Scar X17, and we've jumped straight to the 50s instead. But 45 bullets, it's perfectly fine, and with the PMM build, you can put 45 rounds in there and have no overswing at all with the suppressor. This, in my opinion, is the best way to build the gun if you want to reduce the overswing completely. I've had some insane raids testing out a few variants of the Scar, but before I show you those, I wanted to float an additional idea if you don't really care about the overswing, but just want as much DACA as you can get for cheap. This idea is the M60. You can't fix this gun, it's too heavy, but it easily sits in the mid-80s of recoil, suppressed or unsuppressed, and you can choose any suppressor that you like, given we don't care about removing the overswing here, so we're not weight sensitive anymore. The M60 E4 is cheaper, but this is because of the way that barrel attachments work for it. If you want to go loud, it's fine, but suppressed, you need a different barrel and they are expensive to buy afterwards, so just get the M60 E6 instead if you do want to use a suppressor, as it lets you add a whole bunch of different ones. The T-lock combo that we know better from the MCX fits on this as well, and you can barter that for a Raven, so it's really quite cheap. Overall, this thing is way less expensive than the good 7.62 guns, but has a very low RPM of 550. It can be really funny to try out though. One big advantage that it has is that it cannot jam because it's open bolt. There's no round actually loaded into the chamber according to the game, and in Tarkov for some reason that means that those guns can't jam at all. This does mean that you have to rack it once when you enter into every raid because you can't preload the round into the chamber, but it's a small problem. Okay, next up, let's take a look at a couple of these crazy raids that I've had recently in the Smugglers event with the Scar H. There they are, probably. You really don't want to get caught by these guys, they really hurt actually. Where is he now? Oh, God. Oof. Okay. They don't seem to have much loot. I mean, they've got some good gear. They haven't got crazy stuff, but... Oh, no. This is bad times. You cornered yourself? I did a bit. We'll just have to come out fighting. Yeah, surprised they're not pushing. Me too, honestly. Well, you know what? Given they're not pushing at all... You know what we could do that'd be really funny? Oh no, I should have used Zag first. Did we get him? Yes. That was a tasty fight. You know you want to do it? Well, go straight over then. I mean, I'd love to, but we're going to get murdered if we do. Okay. Okay, someone's coming past the back there. That actually makes me think, well, maybe we should keep going around this way, because these guys will come up through the back, so they're probably still outside. So unless I meet somebody here, which I did last time, and still could. They could pop out at any moment and start shooting at me. How's this guy not dead? Oh. And then we go this way. Maybe. Oh god, there's a guy like right there. Oh, ah! Shouldn't peek that one again, really. See if we can get through here. Did we get him? We did. Cool. He's got smokes too, what a legend. Yeah, I don't know where they are. I'm not sure they were constant spawn. I think they are, aren't they? Hmm. Maybe there's one here. Oh no, this is the other, this is the player. Interesting. Okay. Nice looking X-17 there. It's pretty good. AZ, what's going on, man? Kind of mostly finding all these bodies in a ditch. Well, I put one of them in there, which is quite good. Guts of the Kappa, thank you! Any plans on escaping? Yes, that's going to be next, I think. For me. Tower of Hanoi type gameplay. Love that. Ah! Who's this? Oh my god. I thought we were done, but we weren't done. I thought we were done, my friends. So Friday you're not frauding much? I mean... Well... Nah, because I mean, it's like... Nah. I don't fraud that much stuff, because otherwise it means I have to then, like, redo everything when I get back into base. It's a real pain. What the heck? Okay. That man got out-magazined. Right, exterminating successfully. My god! Guy was there for the entire war and didn't move. How did he lose that? +6 plates, baby. Both sides. +6 plates. Love it. Damn, we're reaping! We're reaping! That's better than this one. There's a bag on the ground. I know. What's he got in here? Nothing, thank God for that. There we go. Oh no, fewer than half. Should have reloaded my mag. Will you ever have any merch with just your YouTube icon / profile picture? I could do. I didn't really want to because I thought it was a bit too, like, I don't know. I guess maybe I was thinking, I don't know if people would wear that, but I guess it could just be like small logo t-shirt or like hoodie or whatever. Like, what would you like? Is there something that you'd want? This guy was like 58. Big boy.